People just love to collect stuff.
But let me tell you something about serious collectors.
Serious collectors don't like junk.
Serious collectors aren't going to sell you a $100 item for 10 bucks.
Serious collectors don't pawn their treasures.
Serious collectors exist everywhere.
Collecting Seriously, a show dedicated to real collecting.
Without the buying, selling, or haggling.
Educational, interesting, and entertaining.
Seriously. Okay, what do we got on tonight?
It's Elvis on Sun Records, and I just gotta have it.
You just said it's worth $300, so...
Yeah, but I gotta make a profit. Bad economy, pretty common item. I'll give you 30 bucks cash today.
Oh, Bubba's the worst salesperson we got. He's always screwing it up. I know we're gonna lose money.
We just found a rusty oil can from 1921. This is true history. I bet we can make 15 bucks on this item if we offer him a low enough figure.
That's enough for me. Hi, I'm Jimmy Sparks. Welcome to the show. You know, there are a lot of reality TV shows out there that deal with antiques, collecting, auctions, hidden treasures, and so forth. But in my opinion, most of them focus on money. That's their main focus. For example, someone brings in an antique from their grandparents' attic, and we see it in all its glory for about 2 whole seconds. Okay, that's good. And then the music speeds up. The bartering begins, the vultures circle in, and then the negotiations are over, and the buyer has just spent pennies on something that may be worth hundreds of dollars. Hooray for the buyer! Pity the seller. Seriously, are we really rooting for the buyer to get a great deal? I want to start yelling at the TV screen to the seller, go sell it online, you'll make more money. But you know, I also don't know his situation. He could be in dire straits, he's selling a family heirloom, you know? Maybe he just wants gambling money. You know, these shows aren't all bad, and I'm not here to psychoanalyze reality TV shows or make fun of them. Well, maybe just a little bit. But I feel that the majority of these money for antique shows, well, they're just plain greedy. I get really tired of the scripted drama on these shows. What I want to see is more stuff. I'd rather watch a show that focuses on collectors and their collections. Great, rare items in awesome shape. No rusty junk. I have this theory that everybody collects something. I know, somebody out there probably just said, I collect dust. Large or small, expensive, worthless, everybody has a collecting hobby of some sort. And the most amazing thing about true collectors, if they want it, money is no object. Now, they're not going to sell you anything out of their personal collection, but they will sell you doubles, triples, lesser quality items, and trade plays a big factor as well. But we'll talk about that later. Now, I'm not saying that money isn't an important part of the collecting process. It is. Good collections can take a lot of money, but more importantly, they take a lot of time, a lot of love, and a little bit of obsession too. So, this is our first show, and in case you haven't already guessed it, it's about collecting. Collections and collectors are all very different. Each have their own stories, perspectives, opinions, none of which we on this show are held responsible for. There you go. There's our first disclaimer. Have you noticed how I seem to be everywhere at once while still completing the same thought? It's amazing, isn't it? It's a film trick. Yeah. Well, anyway, it keeps me from memorizing a really long monologue all in one sitting. And I'm kind of breaking continuity rules here, but hopefully it kept your attention this long. And now, well, it's over. The monologue, that is. Welcome to the snowy Midwest. Coming up next on Collecting Seriously.
Up until the invention of the CD, I could even sell soundtracks in the old days. Movie soundtracks, Broadway plays.
Soundtracks? Who'd want to listen to soundtracks? That is really the dumbest thing I've heard. Man, does this take me back. You know, a short time ago, a lot of music fans like me used to collect vinyl records. It was the only way we could get our music. And I used to help an old friend of mine cart crates like these packed with records to local record shows. He was a mega record collector. He had one of the largest collections I had ever seen or even ever heard of. I learned a lot about collecting and collectors from those days. And you know what? We're going to go see what my old friend Doug Smith is up to now. And here we are, Doug's. You know, the cool thing is, he doesn't even know we're coming.
Jimmy, what a surprise. I didn't even know you were coming.
Okay, of course he knew I was coming over. A lot of other shows want you to think that they just show up at people's houses unannounced. Are you kidding me? This takes a lot of prep work.
Hey, long time no see.
Good to see you, Jim. Thanks for inviting yourself over.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime, anytime.
The minute I walked into Doug's house, I was taken in, not only by the den showcasing music from an era gone by, but by the staging of the room. No clutter. A few great pieces perfectly spaced. I could already tell that Doug was not interested in junk.
I mean, look at this. This is great. Did you do this yourself? Or?
Yeah, I was part of a project where they commissioned me to do 40 of these large displays for the grand opening of Rhythm City Casino. I don't specifically collect phonographs, but as you know, I'm really big into music and records, and these are things that I've just picked up along the way that struck my fancy, and I wanted to have a few examples. This is what's called a concert roller organ. This is what they had before they had phonographs. It's kind of an early exercise machine, if you ask me. But you open up the window here so that you can hear it better, and you just crank the mechanism. This is called a roller organ cob, which has the music recorded on it via these pins.
So you got to play that whole thing through first, huh?
You can't very well stop in the middle.
How much money did you spend on this? You know, collectors like to talk about historical value, but don't like to talk about the money they have invested. That's kind of like asking a woman her age. Bad move.
This is a 1938 Zenith radio.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's got the Magic Eye.
It's not a TV? This isn't a TV screen?
No, this isn't a TV screen. This is your dial to show you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Magic Eye? What are you talking about, Magic Eye?
Well, let me turn it on and show you.
Ooh, like the push buttons.
Only takes about 10 minutes to warm up.
We don't have 10 minutes, we only got about 30 seconds for this
You
segment.
see the green eye out here in the front?
Yeah.
And as we tune in on a station, that green eye gets brighter or dimmer, and it gets brighter as we tune in. A radio like this could bring $2,000 at one time. Now, right now, they're probably more in the neighborhood of $500 or $600.
This is great. Is this something that you're still concentrating on?
My collecting interests are actually very eclectic, and I'd love to show you some of the other things that I've picked up.
Yeah, I'd love to look at it.
All right, Jim, let me show you what I'm into now. About 9 or 10 years ago, I started collecting high school yearbooks, and I got this crazy idea that I wanted to collect one of each and every yearbook that was ever made in our area in the Quad Cities, and that goes from kindergarten through college. And
that's a regional collection then. You would call that a regional collection?
yeah, really, that's what it started out to be. I got interested in collecting the University of Iowa. I'm a big University of Iowa Hawkeye fan, and I decided...
Yeah, you and a lot of other folks too.
Exactly, at least around here. I decided I wanted to get one of each and every yearbook that the university put out, and that I've accomplished. And yeah, Niall Kinnick, the only Heisman Trophy winner from the University of Iowa, is probably the most collectible person, bar none, in any of the University of Iowa books. You know, his senior year can be found in the 1941 book. The book, by the way, is called The Hawkeye. So if you find the 1941 Hawkeye, that's the most valuable book there is. Other than if you get some of the very early ones, Volume 1 is the 1892. If you get that one, it's going to be worth as much or more than the Niall Kinnick book because it's rare. And I got his yearbooks, and that kind of pumped me up, and I wanted to pick up other celebrity yearbooks. All your sports heroes like Mickey Mantle or Babe Ruth even, Michael Jordan, and then of course all your actors and actresses, Ronald Reagan, people like Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly.
Celebrity yearbooks. Wow. Can I have a list of your sources? Another bad question. Knowledge is power. If a collector gives up his sources, it's kind of like cutting his own throat.
Anybody you can think of.
Anybody you can think of, as long as I graduated high school.
Some of them didn't. You know, a lot of the celebrities, especially the older generations, they didn't graduate, or they maybe never even went to high school. Sometimes the high school didn't even have a yearbook. So you get what's available, basically, and it's really fun to try to track them down.
That's kind of an oddity collectible. You know, if you were going to collect Michael Jordan, for instance, obviously you'd get a rookie card, maybe a jersey, but who would think of getting the yearbook?
Well, exactly. It's something that people, they don't consider usually, and it's a great collectible. Neatest thing about it is getting a yearbook that you know, let's say Michael Jordan is in, you pay $100, $500 for it, whatever. You get it, you open it up, and lo and behold, he's actually signed the book. It's really a fun collectible.
Is this the bulk of your collection?
No, I'm afraid it isn't. I don't know, there's probably 300 or 400 books on these shelves, and I've got 5,000 yearbooks.
It's perfectly okay to be amazed by someone's collection. The collector is aware that the bulk they have may stun those first-time guests. But please, leave the overacting to professionals.
This is Marion Morrison's senior year yearbook. Later he was an actor and is better known as John Wayne, or the Duke. And even as Marion Mitchell in the yearbook, his nickname is Duke. On the football team in 1925, senior year in high school.
Love the montage. Does selling the duplicate yearbooks, does that kind of help supplement your collection?
Oh, it definitely does. In fact, it kind of keeps it at an even keel. I don't really have any money invested because selling a duplicate will allow me to buy one that I don't have.
This picture on the wall here is just fascinating. Those are real autographs, right, on each and every one of these guys?
Exactly. Yeah, this belonged to Sonny Frank. He was a good friend of mine. And Sonny went to high school here in Davenport, graduated in 1936. Went on to the University of Minnesota, where he led the team to a national championship, an undefeated season. He was elected into the All-Star team, college All-Star team, along with people like Jackie Robinson, Forrest Evashevski, and they played the national NFL champions of the time, the Chicago Bears. So you had
the All-Star football squad in college played the Chicago Bears.
Right. The college All-Star team was not able to defeat the Bears, but the MVP of the game was my good friend Sonny Frank.